Okay, everyone. Hello, hello. It is Stephen Olivieri with Sunlight on Chaos. Sunlight on Chaos. So here we are, Monday, the 10th, and interesting weekend for everybody, I guess, who was watching this unending saga of nothingness. So it's pretty sad, pretty stupid. And you know what I'm talking about, obviously. The shutdown. Um, I like that some of the repubs were talking about the TSA workers. I'm sure they're really bad stories, and there are, but they're like, oh my God, they're sleeping in their cars. And then their writers say something like, the tens of dollars left in their bank accounts. Um, I think we know you're going to insult them by saying that they're broke idiots that sleep in their cars with $2 in their bank account. Of course, it's a drag without the checks. But if you're going to insult them, at least say you were insulting them. Try to do something like that. Anyway, God willing, now things will get back on track. So, last week, I was so in the weeds at one point, just going after one of Donald Trump's wars, about like Ethiopia getting their unveiling their hydroelectric massive dam, and Sudan and well, in Egypt with the Nile goes into the Nile. That's where the Nile starts. Anyway, I'm going to repeat myself with the granularness of this, but that was not a war. That was a discussion. So it's sort of like, but Trump, even today, I'm going through the channels, even today, he's like beating a dead horse. And I thought, what a weird short that would be. And I should preface this by saying I was going to try to be funny today, because I was so dead in the weeds, trying to be so serious about the buffoon. The orange virus. One of you calls him. You know who you are. You came up with that one, the orange virus, orangutan. But I said I was going to be a little funnier today. Might as well on a Monday kick things off. And also the chat is up, so feel free to chat. I will check it out and see what I can grab as it comes up, and respond as I see it come up. So, but yeah. So I'm going to try to intersperse humor today, because it's to get too down in the weeds. It's depressing to report on depressingly stupid stuff. So if you see me getting a little goofy giddy today, that's why. Um, I want to talk about the ACA a bit, obviously, but I did the difficult deed of going a little more on Fox News than I have in a long time, and I just let it roll. I went into my bedroom, turned on that TV, and I was like, "Ugh, okay, let it roll. Just don't switch it. Don't switch back to the other guys, the other two or three or more, and don't start reading, the news either. Try to look and listen." But the thing is, there's so much juvenility. Sorry, on the right side. Is that a word? Juvenility, juvenile, obviously. And oh, I'm gonna back up. And I'm just wearing blue today because I'm still supporting the ACA. So I'm just wearing a dead, almost boring, but standard blue. It's a little brightly lit compared to my other shirts, but just wearing blue in support of the ACA being dealt with in December. We'll talk about that in a minute. Um, but this juvenility, I'm going to call it, on the right side, it's like a bunch of kids just always trying to come up with this one or come up with that one, and instead of like taking something apart, you know, piece by piece properly, it's more like just, ooh, oh, try to get you, and they're not doing a good job of that. We're not in grade school, number one. So, and then they come out with, I forget who said this, sorry, but somebody today, just along the lines, I had to look up, said, oh, the tort reform hurt the ACA, the Affordable Care Act. And I'm like, no, it didn't. You're just saying wild. That's the other thing. There's being juvenile, and then there's also trying to sound official about tort reform, and throwing shit out there with spaghetti, see what hits the wall, like tort reform. Give it a rest, guys. Um, but let's get down to a couple things, and then I'll start moving around a little bit. We know what happened with the shutdown, and they're going to try to pick it back up. And 8 Dems went over, so they'll get it back in order. But so that makes it even more important. It's amazing how it gets more important by the week. Because I did some things. I called some congressmen last week. I did some live and some recorded, and they weren't in, but I left messages anyway, and with some of their assistants, and some of their machines, But now if they're coming back, I'm gonna play a good one though today. If they're coming back, it's even more imperative to tell the Repubs to extend the subsidies, because the one thing that got taken away from this was that they'll vote on the subsidies, the ACA subsidies, the healthcare subsidies on in mid-December. Boy, talk about down to the last line, the 1 yard line. And I will bring up that joke about and they brought it up on The Five, that show The Five today. I'm going to respond to that too in a second. The Lucy pulling the football out from Charlie Brown when he goes to kick it for the 9 millionth time. Ha ha ha. It's just an awful thing, right? It's not really funny, but it's Charlie Brown. It's his whole state of mind, I guess. So poor Charlie Brown. It's you Democrats, right? Couldn't just get it done. But let's go to the why of that, which is the Republicans won't even budge. So it got so far down to this weekend that they just sort of hammered out, like they'll vote on bringing it to the table, to the floor, in mid-December to talk about the healthcare subsidies. Well, guess where that Charlie Brown and Lucy scene comes back in mid-December. And here we are right at the holidays at that point. End of the year, because they will run out on December 31st. So how's that for, the 1 yard line? And that I predict, pretty easy to predict, right? I predict that they will pull that football out, and they're going to vote some bullshit votes and make some bullshit moves and drag some stuff and run out the clock so that it doesn't get dealt with. So then what happens? So then the subsidies, people can already read their mail and see what's coming in. It's already coming. But so December 31st hits, boom. Let's see the spikes. Let's watch everybody's mail come in and January's bill come in. Okay. And we'll see things double, or 50%, 100%, double, triple, or more. And then the real shit will hit the fan, where it'll just be thrown in their faces. So, but then at that point, it's a new year. How are they going to back that up? So it's a nasty. The Republicans just seem to have no heart, because they're mesmerized by the orange one. So I've never seen, even if you study history way back, all the way back, go to 250 years back, you can't even read about a party dumbing themselves down so much into, the cult of the orangutan. Oh, it's got this joke, the great from Marcy, the great Fatsby. So while he's being the great Fatsby at Mar-a-Lago, everybody else is suffering, and the food banks are getting depleted. Okay, now they'll try to get things back on track, at least, because the Dems were like, yeah, I mean, how far did they, okay, they're never going to change their mind. And they said this stupid thing about mid-December. They're probably just not going to, I'd be stunned if they could get anything out of mid-December. So we should prepare for 26. But it's even more important as soon as they officially say they're back in their offices, that we have to call the Dems and pick your state. I swear to God, pick any state. I'm going to play this. I recorded it. I'm going to play this later. You can go on US representatives.gov and senators.gov and I called West Virginia. I jumped ahead from California, jumped around to Alabama. Like I'm just sort of seeing who's in, you know. So today I'm going to play this in a few minutes. Called Second District, West Virginia, Representative Riley Moore, and he's in appropriations. And you'll see what happens with that phone call. This one got weird. I didn't hear one like this. And these different types of phone calls will come when you call. So you just have to be prepared for a variety of responses. But I think if you want to do something, this is something you can do. As soon as these guys are back in, call their offices, pick an office, remember your time zones. Okay. Call them, when they're, not like 4:30. I did that sometimes too late, maybe. Catch them in midday or, before or after lunch, right? So, something odd I noticed on Fox, not odd, but they try to always go after like the transgender thing. Now, just by me saying one thing here doesn't mean I'm agreeing with all of their stuff, but I think if I can sort of have a slight answer to something they bring up all the time, beating a dead horse. That's what I was going to say. I'm going to back up again. I know I'm pre-teasing everything, but they're like a joke, Monday joke, sort of a dark one. I had this like image of Trump beating a dead horse, because what else does he do? He beats a dead horse, right, all the time. So I was thinking, I'm also a filmmaker, as some of you know, and what a short film, an interesting short film, a little comedy bit. This should be an SNL thing. Trump beating a dead horse. Imagine him. The last of the leaves are blowing. We see just the branches, and it's getting cold and rainy. And you see like Trump, an image of Trump out there in the woods, or you see a dead horse, out there in the field, and you see Trump like go after him with a club and like beat the poor thing. And we're going to, of course, assume it's dead, and that's horrible. But that's how horrible Trump is, because he's so sick that he beats this dead horse. It's literally, it's funny. That's, it's comedy, tragedy, funny, this and that, but it's also serious and sad. That he keeps beating a dead horse. Like today in his press conferences, it's an hour of like roll cameras, guys, and it's like, let him just spiel. Then they ask him really pertinent questions, and he just like, oh no, everything's gonna be great. It's the best. Everything's the best. And Biden was the worst. And Biden was the worst. I hate how he keeps doing that. It's like, deal with your own problems. Stop going back to Biden, you jackass, who did incredible things that you're now taking apart and destroying. But they brought up something about transgender, and there was this person, because he goes by Alexa, which turns out to be, I think, his ex-wife's name, and he also was involved in abuse. But he has male genitalia, and he walked into a woman's bathroom. Oh no, into a locker room, and started just watching a woman undress, and she got ballistic and came after him. And there are unisex bathrooms, but I think if you're still in the genitalia stage in locker rooms and you're hanging out with your junk and you're watching a woman undress, that's something to be worked on for sure. And I think that cuts right down the middle. I don't even think that's bipartisan. So there's a lot of things that are and are not bipartisan. So maybe they should have unisex locker rooms. Maybe. It just shouldn't be that hard to create. They have the unisex bathrooms, so you want to go in there, okay. But he was wearing lipstick and mascara, but he was I don't know how far along he was, if he is, but that was just it was not cool. No matter what, that made that woman feel horrible and scared. But anyway, these Fox talking heads, one of their commercials was really weird. It was called findingtruepeace.com. Because I'm telling you, I told you I was on the watching the shows today, and there was this commercial that said "fresh look on life." You would think that should be for the Dems, right? It should be for us, like just pulling our hair out and freaking out, right? But it was this thing called "fresh look on life," and this woman had said, "I've been helping individuals, blah blah blah," and then she finally, in the third paragraph, says who she is, Cindy Nolte, and then she goes, "I bring a grounded approach to this and that." So she doesn't introduce herself properly. Like the writing in this commercial or in her website isn't even like college level. It's so weird. these are the kind of commercials they're running, but I just happen to notice that. Uh, Fresh look on life. Well, maybe they can. Maybe they should. It's good. It's on their station. They should take a fresh friggin' look on life and stop with the Trump syndrome and the Trump derangement syndrome. Huh? Funny. That's not. They're saying that's Democrats Trump derangement. No, we're just like Trump point out Trump's bullshit syndrome. And it gets exhausting to have to do it all the time. But I mean, he's the perfect candidate that keeps on giving, keeps on doing it every day, each day. You know, you get up. You know, I went out, did errands today, and trying to get into the world. You know, and then come back, and I'm looking at everything. Plus, I was just blah watching the the shutdown all weekend. That's an you want an energy sapper? That's an energy sapper, boy. But I tried to move the channels around and watch a movie. And my title today, I got so many pages I'm looking down at, but the title for today's show, which I'll put on after each show, I sort of put the title on, to improve or not to improve. And I back up again about the ACA. And the biggest thing with the ACA, Affordable Care Act, or one of them, and then I'll go to the biggest. I think one thing is that why the racist Republicans, now I know there are Republicans that are not racist. I'll say that now. They're not all racist. A lot of them are. And I think that the one thing is that they hate the fact that not only many people still call it Obamacare, it's actually inscribed. I see it out here in LA and you see it in New York and Obamacare. And I think just to see those words together, freaks them out. But the thing about to improve or not to improve, this is the clunky thing that I think that the Repubs just don't get. They don't get this. Meaning, about what to do about it. Because, all right, you keep complaining about it. And yet, how many times have they tried to knock it? They tried to take it out. They tried to repeal it a gazillion times. And they're like in the same place right now. It's like, you jackasses, you're not coming up with stuff. And this is just so evident that they can't even, or any of the news stations, or any of the reps or the, senators, why can't they say, we actually do have something and we want to talk about it now, like right now or in December, and we want to get it ready for 26. Wouldn't that be good for the midterms for them? Zero discussion about talking about their alternative or the concept of a plan. So all they do is rip and tug and push. And they don't have forget a replacement. Whoa. But how about building blocks? How about something? Okay, how can we, if you don't like the whole subsidies thing, what do you have? Because it's going to skyrocket. It has been going up. We know about the trouble with the healthcare industry. It's pretty well out there by now. And yeah, can use some work, but they're not helping. So they're choosing not to improve. They're good at bullshitting. They're not even bullshitting about improving it, so, but they're good at trying to, bring in the Supreme Court on issues. And here, I don't have too many clips today, but here's one. I sort of don't want to preface it. I'll just talk about it after, because you can't believe that this crap comes up. It's like a deja ew. There it is. Deja ew. So let me play this and then I'll comment on it. I'll just run the clip. Okay. Give me a second. There, guys. Here we go. And
the Supreme Court Monday rejected a bid to overturn its 2015 ruling, which established same-sex marriage nationwide. That bid was brought on by Kim Davis, the former Kentucky County Clerk who was sued a decade ago for refusing to issue these same-sex marriage licenses, standing on the grounds of her own religion. Now, on the court at the time of those dissenting opinions was Justice Roberts, Alito, and Thomas. They, of course, are still on the court. Now, Robert has been pretty quiet since that he wrote that dissent, and Alito has remained critical of that decision, but still has not said that he wishes to overturn that decision. The court hasn't said anything Monday regarding their refusal to take up that bid.
Okay. I almost passed out from a mold reaction in my own basement.
Okay, so, you know, it's like, how does this get to the Supreme Court again so easily? It's like, don't they have other more pressing things to do than to go backwards and spin the record in the reverse direction? It'll be this way. And why? It's like, it's a field day of stupidity. Okay, I'll just come up with phrases, you know, this hour or all this whole week. I'm going to come up with phrases. Field day, field trip into stupidity land. Okay, so what are you guys doing with the same-sex marriage? Leave it alone. Okay, you decided it. Don't start re-reviewing it or whatever again because this woman acted up. I mean, do you stand by? Do you stand by your decisions or not? So does this prove almost that it even got into near the court? That they are so pummeled around by Trump and his minions that they're willing to almost look at stuff, or it gets put very close to them if they don't even take it up again. And what are they going to do? Take it up and change it, you know, in a matter of, you know, a couple of years? Okay, you could tell I'm a little irate about how wishy-washy and swishy the Supreme Court is these days. And we know the majority of the Repubs, you know, the Trump appointees are ruining stuff up there. You know, I wish it was like maybe, well, it'd be interesting if it was like 12 people up there and we'd get deadlocked once in a while. But it's just, it's a free-for-all because he's got the House, the Senate, you know, Congress, House, and the Supreme Court is falling all over the place. I mean, it's good that we stand strong, we stay strong. Oh, there's a book back there. It says Stand Strong. And I think one of my sisters knows. I wonder if she caught that little book is back there. Stand strong. Well, we have to. That's all we can do, right? That's all we can do is stand strong. So, and the Repubs can find True Peace on findingtruepeace.com. And maybe, and they mention Jesus. Well, okay. They tend to mention Jesus a lot. Well, maybe look after that. So, anyway, and on one of these shows with Mr. It's called The Five, Mr. Greg Gutfeld. Bleh. He just loves being like, he just emanates from his gut. He's just like, I should work on an impression of him. Yeah, well, that's the thing. That's his thing. He thinks he's funny by being disgusting, I guess. Oh, so sorry. This is an old note. But it was the way, this is what I mean by the way they phrase things so quickly and so, with such immaturity. He said something like, it's just so hard for me to sit up and write this stuff down. I'm like agonizing in my bedroom trying to watch this. I'm like, what is this? What did he say? I can't watch this anymore. He said, yeah, he goes like this. Let me see if I get this right. He goes, yeah, we know about the thing about, I wonder if he got it from my show. Wouldn't it be funny if somebody passed it along from this show? Because I brought it up last week a lot. We know about when the Lucy took the football, away from Charlie Brown. We know about that. We all saw the same cartoon. Wow, Mr. Greg Guttenfelden, from your gut, if you saw the same cartoon and you get the analogy, stop bullshitting the country and then pulling the football out from Charlie Brown, poor Charlie, the last minute. So it's like they don't even get the joke. And then they're like, yeah, we all saw it. Well, then understand the joke. It's like I'm watching Fox News. So I wonder if I'm going to get sued or killed. I'm watching the other station and that other station. They have some other ones. You can look them up. And I'm trying to understand how they actually can sit with themselves like that and say things that, and you see some of the other commentators are like, okay, that's right. It didn't make sense, but we'll go, yeah. They're all very corny over there. Very hard to watch these guys. And so, speaking of weird, like corny, this is like weird corny. Well, I don't know where he was trying to go. Trump is always trying to go somewhere. And let me see if this is going to almost play in one of these other clips. Okay. But Trump was talking about the Syrian leader, the new leader that's in. And, hey, maybe if they can calm the F down, okay, and get their houses in shape over there. Really, guys? So he's talking about the new Syrian leader, and he said that apparently he's got a checkered past, a rough past. So Trump goes, he says, yeah, well, if you didn't have a rough past, then you wouldn't have a chance over there. Okay, so what he's glossing over that there were criminal convictions, the guy had a really dark past, and Trump just sort of drizzles over it. Well, if you didn't have a rough past, what are you if you don't have a rough past? What is he saying? He's a flower on the wall, or would be a flower on the wall? Okay. So he said, yeah, you got to be a bunch of roughnecks. You don't know if he's insulting him, who's he insulting. So hard to keep the TV on, but that's what I'm trying to do, guys. So in any event, let me jump back and, I do want to get to the SNAP though, and the ACA, and then I will go to this recording that I did with the rep today. So I wanted to do a whiteboard. Sorry, I got a little busy, whatever. This is like a sort of a messy whiteboard. Next time I'll do a really good one, but this one I got away from me. But it's talking about the SNAP and WIC. And WIC, which is women, infants, and children, they're talking about an allowance for fruits and vegetables. And it's like, wow. I'll go back to SNAP at $26 a month for children, $47 a month for pregnant or postpartum women, $52 while breastfeeding, maybe a total of $80 max. I mean, that's rough. And then SNAP, people will get anywhere from like $188 to $290. I know this for a fact, and that is the range. Now, let's take November. I mean, at least it's coming back, but if November and then December, whatever, so $300 a month or $200 a month for SNAP. Okay, it's 200, then 200, it's 400. But then as soon as imagine if we can't get the subsidies correct, that because like the average for a family of three for the insurance is like $11.68 a month. Okay, now there is out of pocket for employer sponsored plans, blah, blah, blah. I can get in the weeds real quick. It's like $570 a month out of pocket. But just for a family of three, straight off $11.68. If that were to even double, that would mean that January, it would be over $2,000 a month. Now, I'm very sorry about the whole SNAP delay. Well, let's hopefully call it a delay of anywhere around $250. But if there's $1,000 jump in the same people, the same family of three in their insurance, that dwarfs SNAP and WIC, right? Okay, because that means that was bad enough, SNAP and WIC being waylaid. But then if the insurance just jumps up without them even putting on the brakes or letting them roll for, let's say, 6 months until they figure something out to get beyond after 6 months, January is going to be a rude awakening, really hard one for a lot of people. So I'm just getting that in there. And we need to know how important that is. So I had been doing an older script last week, a previous script where I would get on the phone. Had a little problem with the mic and have my little recorder here. It used to be $49. It's now $75. Tariffs. Representative Moore. I recorded this earlier because I'm West Coast time. So I have to get up and get out and make a phone call, which I'll do a lot of as soon as these suckers are back in office. So here, let me pull up what I said. I got a really snippy guy, and I just started recording just in time to hear him snip around. Okay, so this is an assistant that they do happen to be in, but this guy was a little snarky, and I'll tell you what it is. If you can't hear it, I'll slightly review it. Let me play it now. I'll try to hold this in the right spot. Let's see if it goes. This is me. I think it'll say, but it might have got caught up in the very beginning, cut off rather. West Virginia Republican Representative Riley Moore, 2nd District. And his committee assignment is appropriations. So wouldn't he know a little bit about that? All right, let's see. I'm going to play this for you, and I'll repeat it just in case. He's not in. I'll just leave a message. Take calls from someone outside your district? Why not? I just told you, sir, we need to keep these lines clear. I say, so my opinion doesn't matter. Is that right? I see. So you're not willing to hear from anybody else other than people directly? Huh? Yeah. Well, you're going to throw it in the garbage because you already said you can't, just say for Representative Moore to him, if Representative Moore, if you don't have a better health care bill, as Senator Kennedy admitted to today, then will you keep the ACA subsidies in place until you do? Okay. 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 I can't turn him off. He's alive. He still lives. All right. So, in case I'm trying to figure out, it's like a different frequency to put that up to this. It's not hardlined in. More money, more money. How can I say it? How can I say it? Just if you have your cameras, help me get the technology up. There it is. There we go. GoFundMe. If you take you camera people know, if you take a photo of this, it'll take you right to Sunlight on Chaos, and just share it. I'm not asking for money, although that's what it's about, GoFundMe. But if you could share it with people who might have deep pockets who are interested to deal with this kind of subject matter, because that's what we need to keep going. I have not been on my day job for a while now, and even me, it catches up with people. So what I had said, just in case it didn't read properly through that, was to the representative, if you don't, and this is short, I had a much longer script last week. I said, if you don't have a better health care bill, as Senator Kennedy admitted to today, which he did, because he knows, because they don't have crap. They don't have crap. Then will you keep the ACA subsidies in place until you friggin' do? All right. So, it's appalling. It's appalling. And, so I'm leaving that message. So as soon as they are officially supposed to be back at their little offices, it'd be so good if one of you gets through to one of them. You can record it. You have to, if you're in 11 states, you have to tell them you're recording it. Or if you just pick it up, you could just call in or chat in about it. Or you can go to Steven@sunlightonchaos.com. That's a working email, Steven@sunlightonchaos.com. And tell me about it, because I'm going to go into those offices, and, I don't care if it's 200, but now the heat's on. So we have, if hundreds of thousands of us call these Republican representatives and senators, of course, because they hit the ground running first, and just give them a piece of your mind, or just ask them, what are you going to do? You're going to play that game again? Because it's going to be on them. That will be something that will ruin, bad thing that'll be good for the Dems, but it'll ruin their chances, probably, I would think, for the midterms. I mean, that's going to be held over their head like crazy. Is it like they just don't seem to care? It's ridiculous. Speaking of somebody who doesn't know about how to care about things and what's right and wrong, let me go to a clip of Trump. Now, this is like, I keep saying you can't make this stuff up, and apparently he does it for us. I'm just going to run this clip. Check out, just listen to this. And I'll talk after. I can't even preface it. It's so creepy. I'll give you that. That's the one word I'll give you. All right, let's go to this and this.
This is absolutely terrifying. So these are pictures of two people's legs. Both of them are in their 70s. The only difference is one of these people.
Right now, new presidential pardons gaining national attention. President Trump clearing several allies accused of trying to aid efforts to overturn the results of the 2020 election.
Julia Benbrook joins us from the White House with the latest.
President Donald Trump has pardoned a list of political allies for their support or involvement in alleged plans to overturn the 2020 election. And it is quite a lengthy list. The Department of Justice says in total, 77 people received what they are referring to as full, complete, and unconditional pardons. Department of Justice pardon attorney Ed Martin posted a signed proclamation, which read in part, "This proclamation ends a grave national injustice perpetrated upon the American people following the 2020 presidential election and continues the process of national reconciliation." The individuals listed include high-profile figures like Trump lawyers Rudy Giuliani, Sidney Powell, and the president's former chief of staff, Mark Meadows. This group of presidential pardons is seen by many as symbolic since it only applies to federal criminal cases, and no person on the list has been charged with a federal crime. Many, though, have faced or are facing charges in states that investigated efforts to overturn the 2020 election results. The pardon also explicitly states that it does not apply to Trump. This move marks Trump's latest step to absolve or protect allies who tried to overturn the 2020 election results. One of his first actions during his second term was to pardon over 1,000 people charged or convicted for their actions during the January 6th attack on the Capitol. At the White House, I'm Julia Benbrook.
Okay. So, he's just all for, boy, he is an auto pen. He's a human auto pen. Is that possible? He's a human auto pen where he's just like, blah, 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 pardoning, all of these people where it's not even a federal situation. He's just like, let me pardon this guy. Remember Giuliani? Yeah, let me pardon him. Yeah, that'll be fun. We'll go out and hang out a little bit. Let me pardon this one and that one. Like, it comes over on the TV and it's like, but it's from the guise of like, oh, that's cool. That's great. No, it's not. It's the depths of just disgusting malevolence, and I will, let's see, I will play one more because this is going to be really critical coming up this year. You're getting a feeling where I'm starting November, getting to December, and hopefully Thanksgiving will go okay, just about in time. And in December, the distraction with the holidays, of course. And then this coming year, they're going to be trying this stuff they're doing it now, and they've been doing it, but they're really harping, and they're going to be screaming about this kind of stuff in the new year 26. So let me just, remind you guys, that this is going to be incredibly serious. Okay, there we go. And this is where you really have to watch this kind of garbage all over the country.
The Supreme Court will hear a case challenging the legality of counting mail-in ballots that arrive after Election Day, which could have sweeping implications for laws in more than a dozen states. The High Court granted the petition to hear Watson v. Republican National Committee. The case revolves around a state law allowing mail-in ballots received up to 5 days after Election Day, but which were postmarked by Election Day to be counted. The RNC sued Louisiana over the law, arguing it violates a federal statute that designates Election Day as the single day on which elections are held. After the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Fifth Circuit sided with the RNC, Louisiana appealed to the High Court. Louisiana has argued that the state has the right to set its own laws regulating and managing certain aspects of how federal elections are conducted in the state. The High Court has already heard 2 cases that could have major implications for future elections this term, including a case that could toss the current framework for race-based redistricting lawsuits. The Supreme Court has yet to schedule arguments for Watson v. Republican
National Committee. So, you know, it's sort of like the more you dig into this and the more you like really sort of peel back, you know, the garbage and like the details, because so many things whip through the news, you know, and we're all like, wait, what? And, you know, we all have to go about our days and everything. But last week I did it with all of his wars that he claimed to have solved, which he didn't, and which a lot of them are still bubbling up. Some of them are spilling over. Some of them never were wars. But the stuff that they're doing right here, trying to get into the states and the states' rights and the states control their elections. I mean, he's just like, so whatever state you're in, get on top of that in your state, you know? And, you know, we did something out here. I grew up in New York. I always say that first, but out in California, Newsom went after Prop 50, which went well. And, you know, have to play fire with these assholes, because that's seriously what's going on, you know? And with the mail-in ballots, to say like, oh my God, if it comes in 5 days after, you know, so long as it was postmarked on the day. Woo. Okay, it wasn't postmarked a day or 2 later, or, you know, let's say in that case. And so they're like concerned about, oh, how can we restrict, you know, they're all about like, how can we really mess with the drop boxes and, you know, and slow things down and go after the voter rights issues and acts and tear everything apart and make it so hard or scary, and poll watchers and everything, you know, let's just get everybody on the blue side not to come in if we can spook them all and get some National Guard guys around. Well, okay, you want to do it? Okay, we'll have our own people around as well. But the Prop 50 over here, you know, went through quite well to level the playing field with Texas with their sneaky little redistricting crap, and it's now occurring all over a lot more. But hopefully this can just sort of go like this. And just because if they do it a few more times here and there and the Dems can't, doesn't mean that if we have it right and traditionally, historically, do a blue wave and just knock the crap out of them. If we did or didn't have Prop 50 for those 5, you know, in some of the other states, okay, but now we're getting that in gear. So we'll use all that together and basically keep them on the same playing field, you know, as it's said. So please, as soon as these jackasses, and I'm going to call them jackasses because that's what they're acting like. If you're acting like it, you are a jackass. These Republican senators and representatives. Do it in your own state. You know, if you have some Repubs, you know, the states are mixed. They're not all one way or the other. You know, if you read down, it's like, oh, some R's, oh, some D's, oh, R's and D's. Oh, it's mixed. I mean, you get Arkansas, and there's some states, I forget which ones, that are like red all the way down. But then that's good. I mean, it's not good. Then it's go ahead and call all of them is what I mean. You know, and don't be shy. You know, go in and be like, hey, you know, what are you going to do? Is this a game you're going to play? Because we're going to hold it. We're going to hold it over your heads. If you play around and if you guys act stupid right before Christmas, right in the middle of December, okay, everyone will be watching. And everyone will know that you will own it, you Repubs. And it has been said before, but I'll say it right here again, really, really clearly, that this will be a killer item to hold over their head and say, see, they don't even want to make a half agreement. They don't even want to forget a year agreement just to keep those in place, the subsidies. They won't even do 6 months. Will they? Will they? I would be shocked, and I'd be the first one to say I didn't see that coming next year. Excuse me, in around Christmas time. So let's see what kind of presents people are going to get this Christmas. And, you know, you can only have so many pencils, too, by the way, and so many dolls. So that's what the orangutan said, not me. You watch how many dolls and pencils you guys are getting out there. Okay? Don't buy too many. Just suffer with one doll. God forbid you get a second one. And God knows how many Ivanka got as a kid. Oops. All right, maybe that's a good joke to end on. So, and I'm not going to even start with crypto because that's we'll call that Christmas crypto. So listen, thank you everybody for tuning in. I wear my blue today for Monday to just support the blue, the Dems, and we just have to keep focused and keep on top of every little twist and bullshit turn that they do, because if we don't and we miss things, you know, fall through the cracks. But I think those phone calls are going to be really good in the next few weeks, and I'll keep repeating it. But we just have to let them know that there is this wave that's coming right into their office, okay? And they better run, or they better do something right. All right, so tomorrow we'll see you again, and again, Sunlight on Chaos, and it's Stephen Olivieri, and please subscribe. It's free. It's free. It's free. Please subscribe. And you can also email me anything you like to Stephen@sunlightonchaos.com. Any time of the day or night. I'll return it. All right. Take care. And thank you very much.